Hi, juniors. This is Mrs. Belcher, and today Mrs. Cooper and I are going to be talking to you about your four-year plan meeting. To get started, here are some of the things we're going to be talking to you about today. We're going to be talking about individual meetings, the graduation requirements for graduation pathways, box 1, box 2, and box 3, as well as your four-year plan document. So to get started, one new thing that we're doing this year is we're going to be having individual meetings with all 8th through 11th graders to discuss some of the topics that we're going to be going over today more in depth. So between now and mid-April, all of you will have an individual meeting with either Mrs. Cooper or I. And we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be talking about the different graduation requirements. We're going to be going over your courses for next year. You're going to be requesting your courses actually when you're meeting with us. And we're going to be also talking to you about different career interests that you might have in the future. And then if you have any questions for us about different courses or different graduation requirements and things like that, you'll be able to ask us when you have your individual meeting. So again, those are going to be happening between now and mid-April. We do not want you to come in and schedule those. We will be scheduling those for you. We'll be calling you down probably during either an ELC or we'll arrange a time if you have a release or something like that. We'll get a time arranged. You do not need to schedule those. So those will be between now and mid-April. Once we have all of our meetings done with all of you, then we will be sending out an email to all parents, and we'll let you guys know as well through a Canvas message to just say that everyone has been met with. Please double check your course request in PowerSchool, and then you'll have you'll have one final time if you need to change anything, but most of you won't need to change anything because you'll already have met with us individually and we'll have your courses picked for the following year. Okay, so some other things we're going to talk to you about today are those graduation requirements. You should already kind of know this by now, but all of you have to graduate with what's called graduation pathways. And to meet graduation pathways, you have to check off all 3 boxes. So box 1 is completing credits and courses. Box 2 is a project-based learning experience. And box 3 is to show some post-secondary readiness competency. And we're going to go through those a little bit more today. And then we're also going to talk about your 4-year plan. So let's get started. So box 1 for graduation pathways. Box 1 for graduation pathways is all about getting the credits for your different diploma types. So that is taking the certain courses that you need in order to graduate. So a document that you can use to help you see your graduation progress is your graduation progress document, which you all have linked in PowerSchool. I don't want you to do this now. I do want you to pull this up at the very end of our presentation today, but all of you have a graduation progress document linked in PowerSchool. If you log into PowerSchool, not the app, but just the website itself, log into PowerSchool, and on the left-hand side, there's a little button that looks like a graduation cap. When you pull up your graduation progress document, it should look something like this. Maybe not exactly, but it's something similar. It will have your name, your counselor, your graduation year, and then the last time we updated it, and it will have in bold here at the top, it will have your diploma type. So a couple things about this document, you do want to check this frequently. We do update this after every semester. So after the fall semester, we have these updated by February 1st. And after the spring semester, we have these updated by September 1st. So we update these by every February 1st and September 1st each year after each semester. And just a reminder, every box that's X'd out, like these 2 credits here in English, every box that's X'd out means you've already earned that credit. And the boxes that are still blank on your graduation progress document are either courses that you're currently in right now for this semester, or courses that you need to be in sometime before you graduate. Don't forget to scroll down and look at the counselor comment section. We do make notes in there sometimes. Let's say, for example, if you are going towards the academic honors diploma and you maybe earned a grade that was below a C- in a class, we will make note of that and we'll tell you in the counselor comment section, hey, you need to retake this class for a better grade in order to meet that academic honors requirement, or watch your GPA, things like that. Those are just a couple examples, but we do make notes in that counselor comment section. So please make sure you're checking that every now and then. So this is, again, box 1 is just have you checked off and earned all the different credits that you need for your particular diploma type. Box 2 is proving that you have employability skills. So the good news for you guys is we've pretty much already set this box 2 up for you. Everything that you're doing in Tiger Days in Naviance is part of your Naviance portfolio that you're going to be developing along the way. You have all already started doing this. There's nothing that you need to go and do on your own. All of these things happen during Tiger Days. So it is important to make sure you are doing the activities during Tiger Days. If you miss a Tiger Day because you're absent or something, you do need to go back and make sure that you're doing those. But there's really no reason to work ahead or anything. We're going to be doing all of these activities along the way, all the way from students' 8th grade year all the way through senior year. Everything you're doing in Naviance during Tiger Days is going to compile a Naviance portfolio. So I'm going to show you a little bit in Naviance just to kind of remind you of sort of where things are. When you log in, it will look sort of similar to this. You have a bunch of drop-down menus here at the top. The self-discovery, which you guys probably are already pretty familiar with this, but the self-discovery is where all of those assessments live. And you can click on the self-discovery home to see which assessments you have taken or not taken. This is just a demo, and so it doesn't show that any of these have been started already, but for the ones that you have completed, it will show your information under each of these assessments, the ones that you've already done. And you are welcome to go back and look through those at any time. So the self-discovery is where all of your assessments live that you will take along the way. Careers is where you can search for different careers, or you can favorite careers along the way. You'll notice when we do different assessments throughout, we'll ask you to favorite different careers or career clusters. And if you have favorited those along the way, you can go back under careers and click favorite, and it will show you the ones that you've already hearted or favorited along the way. And then college is where you can search for different college and favorite different colleges that you might be thinking about. We know that not everybody is college bound, and that is okay, but you can also look up different things in here, like trade schools and different certifications, and where you can earn those as well along the way. And the careers that are listed under here also are not just careers that are for college bound students. So you can look up those along the way. And then also another important section is over here on the right. It is the About Me section. You all have already done this already, but you've created your resume in there. Most everyone, I guess if you're maybe a new student to Yorktown, you might not have done that yet, but you will create a resume there if you haven't already done so, and you can update those along the way. You'll be setting goals at different times. And then also, this is where your portfolio will actually live. So if you kind of want to see what yours looks like so far along the way, you can click the portfolio and see what is happening. Every time you take an assessment and things like that, it'll automatically populate in your portfolio. And then also along the way, you'll be taking some different surveys and things too. So all of those different things we'll be doing along the way will generate your portfolio, which is what you will be using, all of you will be using for your box 2 for graduation pathways. Okay, up next, I'm going to be turning it over to Mrs. Cooper, and she's going to be talking to you a little bit more about box 3 and your 4-year plan.
Thank you, Mrs. Belcher. Box 3, graduation pathways, consists of post-secondary readiness competencies. This box has several options. The most readily available options at YHS are listed here on the screen. So let's start with honors diploma. So in order to prove post-secondary readiness, you can complete an honors diploma. So that is one way that you can check off box 3. You also can earn an SAT score at the levels listed here on the slide. If you are not sure maybe what your SAT score would possibly be, you can take a look at your PSAT scores. It can give you a general idea of where you might score when you take the SAT. And remember that all juniors, beginning with the class of 2023, will be required to take the SAT at school in the spring of their junior year. So you'll be able to take the SAT during the school day in junior year to potentially earn scores there in order to complete your post-secondary readiness competency. In addition to, or instead of earning the SAT scores, you can take and earn a minimum of a 31 for the ASVAB. So that's an option as well. These last two options are going to take a little bit more explanation. You can earn what's called a CTE concentrator. So that is a series of 3 courses that take place over a 2 to 3 year period of time. You have to earn a C average or higher in at least 2 advanced courses in a state approved CTE, which is Career Technical Education pathway. There's a principles course that leads into the 2 advanced courses. So 3 total courses. I'll give more information on that in just a minute. And then industry-based certification. So this is a certification that comes from an approved list for the Department of Workforce Development. And so that list is always changing from year to year. We're hoping that we get some consistency moving forward so that we can appropriately plan for students and allow you to view that list so that you can choose maybe some industry-based certifications that apply to you. So here's more information on the concentrators and pathway options. So as far as taking the courses to earn the concentrator, the CTE concentrator, you can gain those basically in 2 ways. You can do it at the Muncie Area Career Center, and here are the programs listed that the Muncie Area Career Center provides. Most students can take the Muncie Area Career Center for over 2 years if they choose to. Some programs do have the concentrators available for completion within a 1-year span of time. So you'll want to check with your counselor on that. If any of these areas of interest match your career interest, maybe you would want to look at attending the Career Center. Even if you're a current junior planning for senior year, you still may be able to attend the Muncie Area Career Center your senior year and complete your Box 3 through taking a CTE concentrator through the MAC. Yorktown High School does have offerings available that would match the concentrator pathway. We have those available in education and training. We have those available in engineering, the hospitality culinary arts pathway, the marketing with marketing and sales, and then we have finance accounting. So those 5 areas, we do have a 3-course sequence available that students can take. Those are the options that are available at this time. And then we also have 2 industry-based certifications that are offered at Yorktown High School at this time. One is the ServSafe Manager, and that is only available for this school year, the 21-22 school year. So that isn't something that you can plan for next year, but we wanted to include that in case you have completed that ServSafe Manager certification this year, that can count as your Box 3 for your graduation pathways. And then there's a Microsoft Office bundle that you can complete. This is the content for those certifications are delivered during the digital applications and responsibilities course. And that is something that you can take in future years if you haven't already taken that. So those are just some ways that you can complete that Box 3 for graduation pathways. Okay, so one of the main purposes of having this meeting is to encourage you to fill out your 4-year plan. Just know that the 4-year plan it's a communication tool, it's a planning tool, it is something that's always going to be considered a work in progress, and we want you to continue to use it as such. So the first thing that we want you to do after this video concludes is that we will want you to pull up your graduation progress document and your 4-year plan document. We want you to fill in the courses that you plan to take next year. And this time, you're going to need to keep Box 1. Obviously, you've always thought of Box 1, earning your credits and what type of diploma. You'll want to keep that in mind, but you also now need to keep Box 3 in mind if you haven't done that before. And remember, Box 3 is what I just mentioned. We can go back and look at that slide really quickly. So Box 3 would be those post-secondary ready competencies. So you need to keep those in mind when you're filling out your 4-year plan. How am I going to check off this Box 3? How am I going to make sure that I have everything? Box 1, Box 2, Box 3 for graduation. We'll make sure that we review this document when you come to your individual meeting with your counselor but we do want you to fill in as much as you possibly can before you get to us. And remember, we understand that once you get to us, if you filled something out incorrectly, we're going to talk about that when you're with us. Don't feel ashamed by that or anything. You don't know everything that there is to know, but the two of us together, when we're sitting down for our meeting, we can talk through what your interests are and help correct some of those errors if there are any, and come to a better understanding of where we both think that you are heading with your career path and what you're planning to take at Yorktown High School. So be sure to fill in your career. Just kind of a quick check. Have you looked at your Naviance account? Does what you have listed on your 4-year plan match what your Naviance account says is a career that matches your interests? That might be something to investigate. If those two things don't match, you might want to take a look at that. Remember that for English and math, for current grades 10 and 11, you will have a recommended placement. This recommended placement for your English and math is to allow you to not have to appeal out of it to make the change. If you're a current 10th and 11th grader, we'll recommend what makes sense based on your data. But then if you would like to make a change on that placement, you may do so without going through a formalized process. And really, we allow you to do that because we understand that if you're going to be enrolled in, for example, some higher level science and math courses, maybe you don't want to be in the highest level of English. And the same thing with perhaps English is your area and you want to be enrolled in the highest level of English and maybe social studies that you possibly can. So maybe math and science wouldn't necessarily be the highest level of those classes that are offered. So understanding what you want to do for your career and what your future plans are definitely play into where your recommended placement will actually land when it comes to English and math. Also remember that there are 4-year classes and there are semester-long classes. So when you're filling out your 4-year plan, if it's a semester-long class, it will only go in one area. If it is a full-year class, it will go all the way across. You'll type it in both areas right there, okay? Again, making sure that you're thinking about how you're going to satisfy that box 3 for graduation pathways. Thinking about, okay, I've done my English, math, science, social studies, possibly world language if you're still enrolling in that. And then what in that elective and other required area, make sure that you're thinking about what am I going to do to satisfy my box 3 for graduation pathways, because I need to enroll in those courses there. So you should have next year's proposed courses filled out so that you can be prepared for your individual meeting with your counselor. Your 4-year plan is going to be the starting point. Your counselor may have recommendations that result in a change, and that's absolutely fine. You'll bring your device to your meeting and update the plan as needed. Be sure to save your questions for your counselor. On your 4-year plan, you can type wherever you want on that 4-year plan. That is yours to have. Type your questions on there. If you feel like, okay, I don't really know what the admissions requirements are for a certain school, but I think I might want to go there, a certain college, then maybe you want to write that on there so that you don't forget to ask that question during your individual meeting with your counselor. Come prepared with questions. A video with more information about class options will be available in your Tiger Day module today. So you'll be able to watch that. That video goes through and kind of explains the alignment of all the classes in the content areas and the electives. So if you need to have a prerequisite before you get to a certain level, that will be explained. It's a very similar video as you've had in the past. So the information might not be new to you, but if you need a refresher on that video is available to you in your Tiger Day module. You also will have a link to the course description guide that is updated for next year's offerings. So you'll be able to see that as well should you need that. Remember that the 4-year plan is a work in progress. Keep updating it as things come to mind for you. Keep writing down questions as questions pop up in your head before the meeting with your counselor. Continue to work on the document when you have some downtime during ELCs or Tiger Days so that you have a thorough and complete 4-year plan ready for your meeting. Make sure that this document will be used when you're doing course requests. And again, the course request process is going to be a little different this year. You are actually going to be sitting with your counselor. Your counselor will be entering those courses in the request system for you so that we make sure that we get all the courses in there that we need. don't schedule your appointment with your counselor. Your counselor will be calling you down. There's an order of which we're doing it. It's not necessarily alphabetical and it's not necessarily by credit count or anything like that, but we've got a system in place. So make sure that you trust in our system and that we will meet with students between late January and early April and make sure that everybody has a course request entered in for next year. Again, we look forward to meeting with you and working through your 4-year plan and your course request. Have a good day.